President Donald Trump is furious that his corporate slush fund deal was rejected by Senate Democrats. And now he is blaming House Speaker Nancy Pelosi as she tries to draft her own piece of legislation. So now Republicans, Trump on his Twitter account said Republicans had a deal until Nancy Pelosi rode into town from her extended vacation. The Democrats want the virus to win. They're asking for things that have nothing to do with our great workers or companies. They want open borders and Green New Deal. Republicans shouldn't agree. Oh, well, here we go. So now look, the Republican proposal was fairly bad, right? I've gotten into details of that. Creates a gigantic slush fund, $500 billion, and that could go significantly to Donald Trump's properties, right? So he's mad about that. But what the House is working on is a far more better proposal, even though it's not fantastic. I'll go through some of the details with you guys. For one, it's about $2.5 trillion. It's going to be put into the economy. A lot of it, of course, goes into business and small business. And that's, again, you understand why they're corporate Democrats. So, of course, they're going to bail out big businesses as well. However, it also includes, for regular workers, that's what I like to focus on, $1,500 cash payments to each adult. And so that's $1,500 an adult and $1,500 for each child, up to a total of $7,500. And by the way, anyone making over $75,000 does not get any of that money. And so those payments don't apply to anyone over $75,000. So there's your means testing, right? And of course, that's what corporate Democrats love to do. They love to do the means testing, even though it is at least slightly less terrible than the Republican bill, right? Which had means testing, the same kind of means testing, the same tiers, if you will. But also, if you had no taxable earnings or in 2018 or did not file a return, then you would get absolutely nothing. And also, if you made a lot less, you would get roughly about $600, if not, and if you're under that, more. No, I'm sorry, less, right? So poor people got shafted, whereas people in the lower middle class got some money, and then, of course, wealthier people, or I can't even say wealthier people, because really, if you're living in New York and $100,000 a year, you're not all that wealthy. You're still around the middle class, but it leaves them out too. So there's that. Now, that bill, the Democratic bill, would increase SNAP funding, unemployment insurance, would cancel $10,000 of student loan debt. It also includes tax credits for small businesses, and some of the environmental stuff that's in there says that airlines would have to reduce their emissions in order to get a federal bailout. So now these airlines are like, no, we don't really want to do that. We're not interested in doing that. And you've got Republicans like Donald Trump saying, how dare you? How dare you? And look, that's just some of what's in it. It is a 1,400-page bill. Not all of the details have been released yet. And so there's a lot of stuff in there. Okay. And some stuff even deals with, immigration, right? There's no Green New Deal, though. No Green New Deal. I wish there were, but as usual, Donald Trump is a complete liar. So now the Senate bill, that was the Republican Senate bill, that was shut down, had some other problematic provisions. Again, that slush fund, as I mentioned before, that would be overseen by Steven Mnuchin. They would not have to disclose their donors. Who was getting paid and how much they were getting paid for 6 months, which again would go to the donors and would go mostly to Donald Trump. These are places like airlines, cruise lines, hotel chains. There would be no restrictions. So a lot of that money would end up into the hands of the donors. There were no worker protections. Basically, it massively favored corporations over workers. And the House Democrat bill still favors workers. Still favors corporations over workers, but at least it favors workers slightly more. So there's that. Now, I think it's a half measure. Obviously, I think we need massive investment. I think we need to guarantee healthcare for everybody. I think we need to cancel all student loans. I think we need to give every family, until the crisis is over, $2,000 a month. No means testing. Oh, no, but rich people are going to get money, Jeff. What are you talking about? They don't need that money. Yeah, but you get it back by increasing taxes on them later. You recoup that money through taxes. It's the best way, the most efficient way of being able to do it, right? Now, there are other provisions in this bill that would actually set up an interesting new currency that would be available for everybody. So, hey, crypto market. There's more details on that, but I'm not going to get into it. But look, basically, the reason that Donald Trump is super mad about this, very, very salty, is that he cannot profit as much off this House bill as he could off the Senate bill. One of those things that he loved was the slush fund. He wants it to go to his struggling hotel chains, his businesses, which, by the way, before this crisis even started, we're not doing all that great. And so, yes, he wants to send all that money to himself. He also hates the fact that some companies will have some rules on them if they want to get bailed out. And these companies do not want to have any rules on them. They don't want to be told that they can, that they are not able to buy back their own stocks, for example, or that they have to do something to get federal bailout money. Isn't that hilarious? They're like, we want to bail out. We need to bail out. Oh my God, we're going to fail so bad. If you got to help us. All right, well, look, we're willing to help you, but you got to do something for us as well. Maybe stop treating your employees like crap. Maybe reduce your emissions a little bit so, climate change doesn't destroy us all later. Oh, never mind. Huh, I don't need your stinking money if it's going to come with strings attached to it. Blah. I mean, these companies, I guess you really don't need a bailout after all. Why don't we just do what the real conservatives would want you to do and just watch you fail? I mean, hey, free market, man. Why not? Let them fail. Let them fail. But look, Pelosi's bill obviously could be a lot stronger. I actually like the proposals from Rashida Tlaib, which are much, much stronger. But it's Nancy Pelosi. What do you expect, right? And the fact that Republicans that are already complaining about this shows you who they really are looking out for in this crisis. And as usual, it happens to be their big corporate donors. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.